So after 30 years and countless insults exchanged, Will Smith and Janet Hubert have reconciled. Seems more like a publicity thing to me. Why, you might ask?
I just wanted to know one thing. Why? Why so far? You guys went so far. I lost so much.
Or maybe you don't ask why, but I'll tell you anyway. It comes down to two things: editing and aftermath, right? There are two edits of that sit down that Will Smith and Janet Hubert had. There's one version that's airing on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion special, the 30th anniversary of the premiere of that show. And the other version is playing on Red Table Talk, right? It's actually called Red Table Talk Takeover, or Red Table Takeover, something like that. But anyway, it's over on the Red Table Talk website, and also there's like a dedicated page for it on Facebook. In any case, that's the other edit, right? Or should I say the lack of edit. If you watch that version, you'll see all the things that weren't shown on the Fresh Prince reunion show. The Fresh Prince reunion show presented an edit that was, I feel it was, damage control for the brand, right? There's been a lot of stuff that's come out, and particularly with this 30th reunion show, that's kind of like the one thing that's been hanging over the head, or, overshadowing the legacy of the show. It's probably the only major mark on Will Smith's his stellar record, right, in Hollywood. So I think it was a way for them to clean up the brand, clean up Will's image to a certain extent, but more so, it was a way to make themselves look better.
You some lying motherfuckers.
Right? If you look at the Red Table Talk version, Janet Hubert spills a lot more details explaining, what she went through, what the producers of the show put her through, what Will Smith put her through. And, it gets real uncomfortable, particularly for Will Smith.
There's that respect level that I just needed to have of being an older woman and a black woman. We had our issues. I had been banished. And they said it was you who banished me because I didn't laugh at your jokes. Then they ordered me to stay in my room. I couldn't come out on the stage. And I wasn't unprofessional on the set. I just stopped talking to everybody because I didn't know who to trust.
And all of those details were conveniently edited out of the version that aired during the Fresh Prince reunion special. So, that's no coincidence, right? Just like any other, reunion show or these reality shows or whatnot, they're all scripted and structured, and what's put out in the end is packaged to be put out for that particular reason. It serves a purpose, right? And, just being real, after 30 years, looking at all the stuff that Janet Hubert went through after effectively being kicked off the show, they say she was fired, but she wasn't fired. They just, when it was time for her to get her new contract, they just gave her an offer that was so bad that, nobody in their right mind is going to take it.
The whole negotiation thing was messed up.
Yeah.
You guys offered me something I had to turn down. And I was like, why?
Absolutely. And
Did you know that they offered me 10 weeks of work and said you can't work anywhere else?
I didn't know specifically what the offer was.
10 weeks.
And I knew that
2
you
months.
had turned down the offer.
Right? It's a way for them to get rid of you without actually having to fire you. They can, in the end, they can say you quit, right? They just give you this offer that it's so bad that you have to walk away from it. And any, logical or reasonable person will walk away from a bad deal, right? So once you walk away, they can say, oh, well, she left the show. We're trying to re-sign her or whatnot, but, she didn't accept the deal. Right. So anyway, all this stuff happens, all the aftermath of what she went through after she left the show. She was in a bad marriage, lost the house, lost the business, couldn't get a job in Hollywood because, she basically was bad-mouthed. And, she's been salty. And, reasonably so. She's been salty for the past 27 years, right? So now they would have you believe that after all of this, a quick sit down with Will Smith, and then, now everything is all good, right? Happily ever after, just like every other, Hollywood film or production. They want the audience to walk away feeling as though there's been a resolution, closure, whatever. Not realistic, right? As far as aftermath, I mentioned aftermath. You look at the behavior after the sit down, right? I mean, I haven't seen anything from her about Will Smith. However, the pattern of behavior is still there, right? There were some people that made note of the fact that, when she was on the show, she came in and she gave hugs to a bunch of people. Alfonso Hubert wasn't there. And, people made note of it, right? I mean, he was off filming this, that, and the other. I think he was filming America's Funniest Home Videos or something like that. I think that's what I read. But, Janet Hubert actually she acknowledged that. That's what she said as well. But that didn't stop her from, unnecessarily throwing shade at, Alfonso on this, a radio show that she did. Right. So, kind of makes you wonder, right? It's just like if you're trying to, she makes this reference in the special, at least the Red Table Talk version, that she was tired, right? Her heart was tired and all this, cue the melodramatic music, right? But when it's all said and done, she still goes out of her way to say, to make some snide remark about Alfonso Ribeiro. So, what's that saying? Where there's smoke, there's fire. So, I wouldn't go, putting an extra table setting at the Smith house anytime soon, right? I mean, that much time goes by, that many scars, that kind of impact, that kind of damage, that doesn't just go away.
So much of what you said just destroyed, and everywhere I went, everybody just beat me up. We lost our house. I lost everything. Reputation, everything. You took all that away from me. With your words. Words can kill. Those words, calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death. And it's hard enough being a dark-skinned black woman in this business.
Right. That's going to be a while. I mean, if you look at what happens in most relationships, you have one small event, not small, but you have one event and then, people are in therapy and, counseling or whatever for weeks, months, years, right? But we're supposed to believe that they had one quick sit down and now all's good. No. If in fact they are truly trying to reconcile it, it's going to take some time. They're both going to have to invest, decide that it's important, and then, have a few more conversations, whatever, right? And probably Will Smith's going to have to make some good faith effort in terms of helping her to clear her name in Hollywood, because, I'm under the impression that she probably wants that back, right? I mean, she probably wants to reestablish herself in Hollywood, and just based on that little Hollywood ending, all's forgiven, hugs and kisses that they showed on the, HBO Max version. I mean, it was on the end of the Red Table Talk version too, but, that was a bit over the top.
I could not do a 30-year celebration of this show and not celebrate you. Celebrate your contribution to this show, celebrate your contribution to my life, and
Come here, you.
You know what I mean? That was phony. That hug was like, it's like they were doing an extra episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was just, no. You know what I mean? It's just, no. In any case, that's just my 2 cents. We'll see what happens, but I'm just saying, they might be selling, I'm not buying.